Hi everyone. I thought I would jump on today and have a little chat about meditation because I've actually been having people send me messages and they've been wanting to try meditation, they've been wanting to do some new stuff. Some people have meditated before but want to get back into it, other people have never meditated. And so I thought it would be maybe helpful just to do a super quick wee video on how I meditate and maybe just run you through my little process or ritual which I have done for over 20 years, and it's just so simple that a lot of people think that meditation has to be complicated, or they have to be in this special frame of mind, or they have to be really zen and have a sacred space. You don't have to have any of that stuff. Um, but what you will find is that after a while, if you're doing it on a regular basis, which I really recommend in this climate, in any climate, in fact, it's just absolutely the one thing that keeps me centered and grounded no matter what storm is going on around there. Uh, but you will find if you start to do it on a regular basis that you maybe want to create a little space, a little special place. I come to my treatment room and I have a corner that I come to. It's always the same corner. I quite often have crystals, so what I might do is get myself comfortable. I like to sit upright, so I usually tell people to get your back upright, mainly because if you're lying down you're likely to fall back asleep, especially if you're a morning meditator like me. I tend to get up about 5:30 and I like to have a good hour before the house starts to wake up. So I come in around 5:30 and I have my little corner. I have my cushions. I might have a blanket. I might have a jumper because it's often a bit chilly around that time of morning. I quite often start with walking outside and just doing a couple of arm stretches and just sending a gratitude out to the morning air and Mother Earth for continuing to grow, continuing to breathe, continuing to live, and keep us all alive no matter what we do to her. So I quite often send that out, and then I come and seat myself down. I get myself nice and straight, so I might be against a wall, um, or have a wee cushion just under your coccyx, just under that bottom bone in your coccyx, and that just elevates your spine a bit. And then I tend to maybe grab a couple of crystals. Sometimes I set up a grid, so if I do a grid, I'm just really doing. You can't see very well, but I tend to just do 4 crystals, and they're almost always quartz channeling crystals. Um, and I'll just arrange them in a kind of square, and then I put my hand in the middle and I just lay my intentions, and I put people into this circle, I put situations into this circle, and I set my intention for my meditation. Otherwise, if I'm feeling really unsettled, or if I'm finding it hard to focus, my monkey mind's going crazy, I might bring in something like an amethyst, a blue stone, or a heart stone, because we want to get out of the brain and into the heart. And this is always the focus of meditation. The heart should always be in charge, and the mind should always be a servant to the heart, not the other way around, which is how most of us tend to live, of course, and it's very hard to avoid sometimes. So I just find that crystals help me get centered. I find that they are absorbers of energy that I want to release, and they're also amplifiers of anything positive that I put in. So there's just nothing for me that is negative about crystals. I clean them once a month on the full moon, or I wash them out in sunlight, depending on the crystals. And I don't spend an awful lot of time with books looking at the meaning, at the very in-depth study of crystals, because the whole understanding of crystals is intuitive. You tend to walk into a place, and even if you go into a crystal shop, they will tell you to walk towards what you're drawn towards. So rather than sitting there with a book and saying, I need this one, this one, this one, you tend to just suddenly find you're magnetized towards a certain crystal. So I tend to set them up just around the base of my feet, or a grid on the floor in front of me. And then I either have my hands just with the thumb and the forefinger touching, resting gently on my knees. That tends to be my more comfortable position. Some people like to have their hands up for receiving. That's a really beautiful position to be in, but I find that I get pins and needles in my arms, so I don't tend to do it for that long. I mainly do that if I'm working on a healing energy that I'm sending or radiating out to someone in a specific moment, and then I might bring my hands out, but otherwise I just rest them gently. And the main thing is you want to be comfortable, because you want to be able to sit there for a good 15 minutes up to an hour. So I tend to sit there nice and comfortably upright, and then I close my eyes and I focus on my third eye, right in the middle of the eyebrow center. And all I do is I count. I don't use mantras. I've never been able to focus with mantras, but other people use a mantra. So if you have a mantra, if you have something that feels really wonderful, a Sanskrit word, a word that you've been given, a phrase that you want to say, look, you use whatever works for you. For me, counting is just easy. It has always worked, and it's always been the thing I've come back to no matter what else I've tried. So what I tell people is find a number that feels right, and I count fast to begin with. So when you're counting fast, you're distracting the monkey mind. So if you've got a really busy mind that's going crazy and you're just like, oh my God, how am I going to sit down and focus, just get a number, a series of numbers, and I count to 8. Some people it's 5, some people it's 7. So I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Nice and fast in a rhythm to take the focus off the monkey mind and get the focus on the numbers and into the third eye. So I imagine them rolling, rolling, rolling through the third eye. And as I do that, my attention immediately shifts away from my thought processes. Now, this doesn't mean you won't go back. You're going to be like this in the beginning, all over the show. And people say to me, I can't meditate because I can't sit still. But that's exactly why you should meditate. Anyone that is completely unable to sit still and focus needs to meditate. Everyone needs to meditate, in my view. But I find that the counting just gives me a center point. And if you notice your mind is drifting off, just bring it gently back. There's no telling it off. There's no it's not a rule-driven practice. It is a gentle practice. It's a reflective practice. It's a meditative practice. And what you are doing is just noticing, becoming aware of how busy that mind is and how inactive our heart gets when we're operating from a place of fear. So many people base so many of their life decisions on fear, and you want to get out of that fear. You want to come into a space where the heart is making the decisions, because the heart is never wrong. Even if you feel afraid to make the heart's decision, the heart will not be wrong. But if you're making a decision that's based out of fear from your mind, that's always going to be the wrong decision. So sit gently and comfortably but upright. Close your eyes, focus on that third eye, find a number that resonates when you're moving quickly, and use that number over and over and over until your mind softens and until you can start to feel yourself pulling forward into that third eye void where you really want to head into. And when you're in there, you're moving into the theta state of relaxation, which is the earth's resonance. And in this state, just a couple of minutes in the very, very deep state is equal to a couple of hours of REM sleep. It is so restorative. It is so good for the immune system. It is so good for getting you out of your mind and into a state of calm. And it just sets me up for the day each day. And some people prefer to meditate at night. If you're a night owl, you find your rhythm, find your time, find your space, and play around with different things. If something's not feeling right, you can't get comfortable in that room, try a different room, try a different corner, try a different cushion. The crystals are not mandatory. You don't have to run out and buy crystals, not that you can at the moment. But just, this is about feeling into what feels right, what feels good, what resonates with your heart. And as soon as it resonates, you know you're doing the right thing. And you don't need anyone else telling you or feeding you all this information about the right way and the wrong way to do something. There is no right and wrong way. This is just the way I do it, and you will tweak that and move things and add things and change things until it feels right for you. And that's really all it's about. But feel free to PM me if you've got any questions, and happy to chat in person, and I hope you found it helpful. Namaste.